Welcome, everybody, to the Stream of Purpose Wednesday podcast, where we will cover the last games, go over all the highlights. I'm your host, Jeff Russell. Thank you for joining me, and let's jump right into the action. All right, so kicking it off at 8 a.m. in Week 1, we had the Timberwolves playing Brad Slaughter's Bulls. Slaughter's Bulls were in green, and first time that we got to see both Finn Hertzler and Bryce Hertzler not only play together, but we've just never seen Bryce play. So we had both Hertzlers on the court, and unfortunately for Finn, yes, he suffered his first loss here at Upward in his Upward career. Finn is a sixth grader, so keep that in mind, but definitely he is on the GOAT watch list to supersede Ronan Casey as the boys' Upward GOAT. All right, so this game was Charles Babb did a great job coaching here. This was Gabriel Hoover Day. No surprise there. Hoover, sensational player, very fast. And Hoover was without a couple people. Aaron Eberle and Jaden Felpel were out of this game, but it didn't matter. They were in full control the whole time. Hertzlers could not get anything going. Finn, he was a little rusty. Didn't hit shots he normally hits. Hackenberg played good. Everybody played good for Slaughter's Bulls. It's just nothing outstanding. Lincoln Harding, everybody was just missing shots. It just looked like rust. Timberwolves, on the other hand, Gabriel Hoover, Ryan Hoover had a good game. Joshua Stefan and Hoover with a big focus here, and they played very well. But Hoover was player of the game. So a 32-21 final. Congratulations, Charles Babb and the Timberwolves. That was the 8 o'clock game. Let's move on to the 9 o'clock game. So game 2 on Week 1, we saw Chick Coles and his 76ers in green up against Lonnie Hochstetler's Trailblazers in gray. And this was a very interesting game. Of course, Chase Gwaltney, number 1 pick overall, was definitely the focal point here. Also, keep in mind that an 8th grader being the number 1 pick overall just shows you something there. Gwaltney was good. Gwaltney, I'm not going to say that we saw Chase at his absolute best, but he was very good. In fact, he was player of the game here. Chick Coles, though, the 76ers fell behind in this one. Trailblazers, they were pretty much in front most of the game. In fact, I believe in the third quarter, Chick was down 8 points, and Charles Babb and I, Charles was running the camera. We were wondering why Chick is not vocal. He was quiet, down 8 late in the game, but he had full confidence in Gwaltney and the rest of his team. They stormed back to win 26-25 in this one. Everybody played well. Everybody did their part. Chase, this was just a team effort. Caden Weaver did good. Philip Umbell, Fonzie's little brother Byron did good. Jackson Hoover pitched in. Maddox, I don't believe Dawson Fisher was in this game. Pretty sure he was out. Jeshua played good. Alvaro Concepcion Leyva, and Carter Wilson. Everybody just pitched in when they needed to. I don't remember seeing too much from Carter Wilson, though, off the top of my head. But, nobody did bad is the main thing here. And for the Trailblazers, the focus was Mason Montefort. Anytime you have him on a team, you're never out of a game. Of course, remember him from the Nuggets last year when he knocked out Amory Bowley's Celtics in the second round or second round. Montefort, tremendous player, super fast. Him and Hoover, 2 of the fastest in Upward history. They had the Stoltzfuses, so there's 4 of them, 4 Stoltzfuses. Deshaun and Grant, definitely had good games. Gideon and Sean a little more on the quiet end. Carter Watkins, he was pretty quiet for most of the game. Gitke Gavin, he played good. Hochstetler did his thing, and Lee Freeman. So Lee Freeman was, Montefort and Freeman, seemed to be the top 2 in this game. But, everybody pitched in. Everybody did well. They had a lead. They blew the game. I'm going to say it, up 8 points. You should be able to put that game away. And I'm sure Lonnie Hochstetler would probably agree. He should have won that game. And Gwaltney just squeaked it out 26-25. That was your 9 o'clock game. Let's move on to the 10 o'clock game. And we had Ezra Hoover's Jazz going against Ethan Devine's Lakers. I expected the Jazz to win this game, which did not happen. The problem was Brian Fisher, who was player of the game. Fisher was just too much. But he was not the commander-in-chief of the Lakers in this one. Jude Lapp seemed to step up into the leadership role, which was very interesting because I'd never seen Jude Lapp break out like that before. Ethan Devine had his Lakers ahead the whole time. The final score was 46-35 in this one. Now, two key players were out, that would help Brody Torrance. Brody Torrance he's just seemed like he was all alone out there. He needed Trenton Zimmerman and Eli Ramirez were both out. Eli was sick. I don't know what happened to Trenton. But Brody, you could see the frustration setting in because Brody, he can only do so much. We know Brody is, as close to superhuman as you can get out there. But, no, there was just too much to handle here. Give credit to the Lakers. Everybody was playing well. They played as a team, Brian Fisher was sensational. Jake Harding was a great role player in this. Jude Lapp was your leader of the team. Nicholas Long pitched in. I'm not sure if both Reeds were there. I remember seeing one of them, Mike or Quinn. I can't remember. I remember the Reeds playing good that I saw. And another big surprise on this team was 7th grader Carson Roman. Yeah, Carson, wow, he stepped up to the plate and he became, one of the big three on that team. And Rhett Givler chipped in when he did. Parker Graham played well when he was on. Everybody did good. Zach Stoltzfus as well chipped in. That was just a team effort. 46-35 your score there. For the Jazz, Ezra Hoover, it was clear. It was clear Brody Torrance just needed help. Having Trenton Zimmerman and Eli Ramirez would have made a major difference. TJ Fox did well. He was rusty. He was erratic. He played well. He had moments of greatness, and then he had his down moments. TJ just couldn't really get a rhythm going consistently. Little Ian King out there. Everybody tried. Bill Heim pitched in. They did what they could do. Logan Stoltzfus did what he could do. They just missed two guys, and when they get them back, we're going to see next week. Hopefully they'll be back, and we'll see a whole new Jazz team. So congratulations to Ethan Devine and the Lakers there, and Brian Fisher being player of the game. That took us to the last of the boys' 7-9 games at 11 a.m. and Jordan Tyson in the Heat, and wow, was I impressed, especially with Nidrell Salvador. Did not see this coming anywhere, 9th grader. I know Nidrell has 3 older brothers that play basketball. He plays for Faith Mennonite, Nidrell, and he was a nice, quiet surprise in this one as he kind of reminded me a little bit of Allen Iverson out there, the way he was taking command like Iverson did with the Sixers. That's where Salvador, played a role there as kind of the leader of this team. Everybody played well. Gabe Lapp was, Gabe Lapp, very good player, solid. Mason Mabry hit a nice 3. Zach Martin chipped in when he could. Nicholas Roberts, good game. Jed Stoltzfus played well. The Bajako brothers both played well. Everybody was just, it was a team effort. The ball handling, the movement of the ball, they were a team. This was a team that was on the same page, and it clearly showed. Eric Stark, on the other hand, and the Supersonics, this was the opposite for them. They just seemed, disoriented. They seemed not connected. Jesse Stark just seemed like he was on an island out there with no help. Liam Francis, you could see tons of rust. The talent was there, but shots were off that he normally hits. You've seen frustration from Francis. They need time. It's simple as that. Not only do they need time, they also really, really need Jaden Vega. Jaden Vega would have completed that defense, and without him there, there was just this big gaping hole, and I think Vega will, connect everything when he's there because Jesse's used to him from last year on the Jazz. Jesse did Jesse things. Jesse was great as usual, no surprises. Kieran Shannon played good. And everybody played good. In fact, they started to make it a game at one point, but then the Heat just pulled away. But C.J. Boone was good. And the big controversy here, Clay Gingrich. Nobody knew anything about Clay. And do we still know anything about Clay? We don't know. Clay, we know he has tons of athleticism, and he just needs coaching and guidance, to pull that out of him. I happen to think that you're going to see a different Clay Gingrich come to the playoffs than you're seeing right now. Clay showed a few plays what he can do. If Clay learns the game and just, has an idea of exactly what's going on in each play and where to be and where to position himself, you're going to see a really good player. I imagine him type of a Dennis Rodman type guy that he could bring to this team. So don't count the Sonics out by no stretch of the imagination. And Adrian Weaver also played very well. He had a good game. And Dallas Shands chipped in too. So congratulations to Jordan Tyson. His first game in the boys 7-9 as an upward coach, 1-0, and the Heat looked really good. So now we go to the boys 5-6 league. Okay, and as we take a look here at what went on opening day for the boys 5-6, it started off with Ryan Doherty taking on Chick Coles. Doherty's Falcons in green, taking on the Horned Frogs from Chick Coles in the boys 5-6. And this was all Javon Fisher. Javon Fisher had a sensational day. The Falcons, I did not see the game, but the Falcons just were lost. I don't know what else to say. Your final score, 41-10. This was an absolute blowout, and Javon Fisher just had his way with the Falcons. Coach Doherty, he's going to have to, get his boys together, do his coaching magic, whatever he can do. The boys just weren't on the same page from what I'm hearing, and that the Horned Frogs had a very easy time, that everyone played well, but Javon Fisher was clearly the best there. So congratulations to Chick Coles and the Horned Frogs starting out 1-0. That took us to the 1 o'clock game, the boys 5-6, and you had Coach Good in gray with the Silverhawks going up against Chick Coles' son, Brian, the pastor over at Petra and the Badgers. And, credit Mike Good and the Silverhawks as they won this game 39-27. Coach Good gave player of the game to Tyke Lapp and said Tyke played very, very well. Of course, they got Elias McKay on that team, fifth grader with tons and tons of talent. He played good, but this was Tyke Lapp's day. And, Coach Good was proud of the whole team. Everybody played well. For Brian Coles, from what I heard, that was not a Jeffrey Culp day. This was a Brian Coles Jr. day. And it seemed like he was out there by himself on an island as well. He had over half the team's points. 39-27 was the final, and out of those 27, Brian Coles probably had about 20 of the 27, 3 threes, and just doing everything. But it sounded like he needed a little help. I don't know if Jeffrey Culp played in that game or not. But congratulations to Coach Good and the Silverhawks starting the season 1-0. Take us to the 2 o'clock game, and this was the final game of the boys 5-6. And you had last year's boys 7-9 championship coach Adam Wentling and the Golden Gophers taking on Gregory Reif and the Nittany Lions. And this was another routing, unfortunately, for the Lions. They came on the short end of the stick. This was all Tyler Hock-Stetler. Stetler, I caught a lot of this game. And the games are out there if you want to go see them. Just go search for the all boys 5-6 games, the video under the live section, and you should see all 3 games out there. The Golden Gophers, 31-8, your final. Tyler Hock-Stetler, no surprise player of the game. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more wins from the Golden Gophers. For Greg Reif, I don't know what went wrong. I know Wyatt Kring was playing decent out there. I'm not sure how Longacre played. I have to go back and check that out. But I'll have to talk to Coach Reif and see, what he thought of the game. But 31-8 is not the way you want to start the season. But congratulations, Adam Wentling, continuing where he left off from last year. So that takes us over to the girls 7-9 league. So that takes us to the girls 7-9 league. And Anne-Marie Storm going up against Cheryl Russell Sparks in green. And this game I did live here. Fortunately, it was an interesting start to the game because when I got there, the baseball team was still on the floor, so there was a delay, and I had to run home a 15-minute ride and get a tripod and come back, and I got there for the second half, basically. So the Anne-Marie Bowie Storm had a 4-point lead going into halftime, and what I saw in the second half was a very, very good match. The teams looked very equal, and Anne-Marie Bowie, focused the offense around Lexi Gwaltney. No surprise there. They did acquire Megan Davies, who was not at the draft, and Cheryl Russell acquired Avery Murphy, who was not at the draft. So both girls, got a boost on their roster, but this was Lexi Gwaltney's day. Lexi, was sensational. She was great. Her ball handling skills showed. It looked like the offense, just kept setting screens for Lexi, and as soon as you gave her a little space, she made you pay for that. Unfortunately, it sounds like Deshauna Jones is going to be dropping off the team, out of the league. Not sure why or what happened there. But from what I saw, everybody played well on the Storm. Storm went on to win this one by 2 points. The Sparks definitely had their chances, and if I had to guess, it looked like the Sparks outshot the Storm. They missed a lot of shots that should have been made, wide open layups that were missed. My daughter, Catherine Russell, she missed a few. She had a few. It was a tale of two different sides. On one end of the floor, you had the size advantage. The size advantage definitely goes to the Sparks. Avery Good, the focal point of that team. She hit a nice basket but missed some baskets, and everybody played well. It was a war out there. It was a tight, close war. You had no room for mistakes. I would have liked to seen Cammie Martinook get more involved in the offense and defense. Cammie definitely is worthy of a bigger role, getting involved. Avery Murphy played very well. I don't know how long it's been since she played. I last saw her 2022. Was on the Bearcats for Ryan Doherty, and she was one of the big four on that team. She certainly, was one of the best players out there. But everybody played well. They played well. I'm not going to say anybody cost them the game or this and that. It's just that Lexi Gwaltney was not missing. She had a very high shooting percentage, and the team, it seemed like the Storm were prepared for this. It seemed like the Storm had a game plan, and they executed that game plan. J.L. Glick played well. Lily Asensio played very well. Even Carly Harnish and Cora Lapp, Mary Rhodes, and Mega Davies doing Mega Davies things, former Falcon player from a couple years ago. They were playing like a team, where the Sparks seemed discombobulated. They didn't seem connected. They didn't have a rhythm. They didn't have a plan. It was just like a free-for-all, hoping, and, but the skills were there. Good. I would say that they played good. Not their best. I don't know if we saw the best of either team. A lot of rust. And Noelle Spangenberg and Calabrese, they were your C-line players or B-line, whatever you want to say, and they came in off the bench and did what they needed to do. Summer Santiago played well. It's just that they didn't play well enough. And definitely Cammie Martinook should be more involved in the scoring and the defense on both ends. We saw what she did with the Panthers last year. So I think we're going to see more things from Cammie. But congratulations, Anne-Marie Bowie. So that put her at 1-0, and that was the 12:30 game. And then they got to play twice. So the second game, which was at 1:30 p.m. Eastern of the girls 7-9, was not as close. It was not 16-14. This I did not see this game. I did not see it, and for the life of me, I could never understand how Ryan Doherty and his girls 7-9 team with Adelie Garman on it and his daughter Allison and Audrey Hess. I haven't confirmed that Audrey Hess was there. They got routed. It's not even routed. 35-2. What in the world happened? I have no idea. According to Doherty, it just seemed like the basket had a lid on it. No shots were going down, and yeah, I could understand that. Anne-Marie said she did everything she could not to have a blowout. She sat Lexi Gwaltney quite a bit. She sat her best players. She sat JL, Megan Davies, and they just, no matter what she did, the ball, it was just working. It was, things were going the Storm's way. This was the Storm's day. Anne-Marie won the game 35-2. She's off to a 2-0 start. Not the start that Ryan Doherty won it. We tried to recruit Grace Ebersol and get Doherty another player, but at the last second, Grace decided not to play. I don't know if there's anybody else in the works, but I didn't see the game, so I can't say what in the world how Allison Doherty and Adelie Garman didn't score more than 2 points. So that will baffle me forever. So congratulations, Anne-Marie. You're 2-0. So now that takes us to the final league, which is the girls 5 and 6. Okay, so if we take a look at the 1:30 game, Cheryl Russell and her Lady Lions taking on Maritza Pellet and her Lady Wolves. Lady Lions were in green. Of course, the focal point of this team is Violet Martin. There was no Yana Karpitsky in this game, fifth grader, but everyone else was there. But it wasn't Violet that stole the show here. Actually, the focus was on Charlotte Lapp, the Lady Wolves. Charlotte, being a fourth grader, definitely on the GOAT watch list, up there with Lexi Gwaltney, trying to supersede Katie Hoffman as the girls' GOAT. Charlotte Lapp was amazing. Her ball handling, I would say she was the best ball handler in the building that I saw that day. She dribbles with the right and the left very fluently. The eyes are up. She made an incredible turnaround spin shot with people all over her. Charlotte just was great, but unfortunately, the size disadvantage was too much. Violet Martin being one of the best, if not the best, defensive player there in the girls 5-6. Everybody played well for Cheryl Russell. They ended up winning this one 35-16. Claire Yoder was great. In fact, we gave Claire Yoder player of the game. She had a very, very good game. Selena Santiago played well. Nora Messner, Julia Eby did her part. Just a great game. Violet Martin was a little rusty on the offensive side of things, but her defense, just shut down the Lady Wolves. Emery Garner played very well. Luna played good. Maddie Maddox, Reagan Reed had a very good game, but this was Charlotte Lapp's team, and it is Charlotte Lapp's team, and I'm sure we're going to see some wins from the Lady Wolves. Layla Pajaco played good. It just got to everybody had to come together and find a way, find a chemistry. But in this one now, they got routed pretty much. Charlotte was overwhelmed and undersized. Nothing else really to say on that. And then it came to the last game, which I did not watch, the 3:30 game over at Garden Spot Middle School. Jennifer McClellan's Lady Huskies, who have 5 players in that team, were going up against Bradley Rose Orange Men. So having 2 bench players or 3 bench players, I believe, on the Orange Men to no bench players, and they lost. The Lady Huskies, all they needed was those 5. The final score was 15-10 in this one. But probably the biggest thing that came out of this game was a very bad injury to Macy Miller. I believe she got stepped on, from what I was told. I think she broke a bone in her foot. I don't know if she is going to play again this year. That remains to be seen. If I get any information, I'll pass it out there. But as of now, Macy Miller is going to be out of commission. And, of course, big loss for the Orange men. But, we wish Macy the best. Her sister Hazel, I guess, will have to step up into her shoes. And, I have not seen Hazel play. But, 15-10 in this one, low-scoring game. Credit Jennifer McClellan. Got her Lady Huskies without any bench players their first win. So, there we go, folks. That is going to wrap it up for the girls, 5-6. And, okay, we take a look at the boys' 7-9 standings. Lakers, Heat, Timberwolves, Sixers, all victorious. And the Supersonics, Bulls, Jazz, and Trailblazers 0-1. And that'll do it for this wrap-up here. Thank you, everybody, for listening, tuning in, supporting the organization. And we will see you this Saturday for Week 2.